Hello and welcome to another What Sold on eBay video. I'm your host Chris and we're going to go through some items that sold in our eBay charity shop. And if you want to help out the American Cancer Society, you can go down there and check out some of our listings. Send us an offer, see some of the great deals we have there. We're going to go through some of these items and there's going to be a little bit of a deep dive throughout this. So you might learn about a bolo or two to look out for if you're going to estate sales, garage sales, etc., etc. If you're new to the channel, definitely go down there, click the subscribe button, click the like button, and let's get right into it. First item today, we have this Boston's Seafarer. This is a collector wall mask. These things are actually pretty small chalkware pieces from England. As you can see here, they're kind of like ceramic, hand-painted pieces. They actually are, look pretty lifelike for what these are. Some of these are vintage, as you can see there. I'm not really versed on these at all, but I know that they do make just tons and tons and tons of different types of faces and different things like that. So just look out for these kind of things. This is what it looks like on the back. There's kind of like this hook thing, and basically they're basically displayed on the wall or something like that with a nail or a special J hook or something like that, as you can see here. They're pretty easy to tell what they are as far as like what they are because they're marked Boston, and they also have the name usually also on here, as you can see here, Boston's English. This one is Life Boatman, very easy. These things actually do get damaged from time to time fairly easily, so definitely just make sure that there's no chips or cracks or anything like that. I do believe they're made out of like a really hard plastery resin material, and so just definitely look out for this. These things have great detail and they're highly collectible, and so some of them go for hundreds of dollars. But anyways, it's just something else to be aware of. For myself, I've seen these before, but I just never took a deep dive into these things. I'm sure there's a whole wonderful world of knowledge and exploration to be had going down the rabbit hole of Boston's. But anyways, yeah, this sold for $34, and definitely look out for these. Next up, we have the Sirius XM satellite portable handheld radio. This is kind of one of the newer items here. As you can see here, this is an open box item. This sold for $90, as you can see here, all the little pieces and stuff. Sirius XM radio stuff has been around for a long time. I want to say 20 years, but maybe it hasn't been that long. But Sirius stuff has been around for a long time. Anyone that's been in the reselling game has come across this kind of stuff. For the most part, some of the older things are a dime a dozen, but look them up on a case-by-case basis. Some of the older stuff doesn't really go for that much, but anything brand new and sealed, especially anything electronics, you always want to look up anyways, regardless. So that could be the difference between a $10 item and a $100 item if it's new or sealed compared to if it's just loose and used. Still pretty good money for this. $90. So just, with XM stuff, it's kind of hard to test. You can plug it in to just make sure that it powers on and things like that. But to actually physically test all this kind of stuff, you have to basically set it up. So, just put that in your disclosures and everything should be fine. For the most part, electronics and stuff, they work for the most part. You are going to get your cases of sometimes when you do some testing that stuff doesn't work. But in my line of experience, finding stuff that doesn't work is usually maybe 5% or less of the time when it comes to electronics. Usually the older the stuff is the stuff that I usually have problems with. And so, yeah, just electronics. It's kind of an interesting niche to get a part of, but it's good money. Next up, we have this Chloe women's 1.7 ounce Parfume spray. This is brand new in a box. Fragrance, perfume. Brand new in a box. It has a barcode. I think it had a barcode. Yeah, you can easily scan that. And then in eBay, you can see the different sales. And then just do sell similar and change the title up a little bit. But anyways, it sold for $34.99. Perfume is everyone. Like 5 years ago, I would say like a perfume was one of those kind of hidden bolos, especially some of like the vintage stuff that you can find in estate sale bathrooms. But I think pretty much everyone knows like to look out for perfumes and colognes and things like that. But if you can look them up, definitely do that. Now there are some counterfeit bootleg perfumes out there and colognes. It's actually pretty common. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of that. Just compare the boxes and things like that to known sellers and known genuine articles, because they've they've got the counterfeiting of these down so well, and the only reason you can tell is if you actually use it and the fragrance goes away really quick and you need to like use like more than you should. That's usually an indicator that it's usually a knockoff or a bootleg perfume. Usually, legitimate perfume and cologne is going to stay with you. The smell, I mean, is going to stay with you for a long extended time. It's not just going to like go away real quick. So, just that's something else to be, mindful of if you're ever dabbling in this kind of thing. Next up is this Kinko's 10 karat 20-year-old service award pin. I do believe, I forget exactly, I think those are sapphires in there, and they represent 10 years each. So this is a 20-year service pin. Service pins are a really amazing niche to get involved with, especially if you've never heard of service pins. They're basically pins that are given out when you reach a certain milestone in a company, whether it be 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. Disneyland has probably actually it's Disney. I guess everyone gets one. The Disney ones are like probably one of the most well-known service pins out there. Some of them go for crazy money, especially the really like the ones that are like the 50-year and 45-year service pins. They go for a crazy amount of money. Actually, let's dive into that. I want to show you that right now. This is too good to not show. Some of you might not know about this. So Disney service pins, this is what they look like. This is the 1 year one. So when you're there for 1 year, you get this kind of one. This is a dime a dozen. The 5 and the 10 and the 15 are usually a dime a dozen, but the 50-year ones, and I think even like the 35-year plus ones are extremely hard to find, and they actually go for crazy, crazy money. Let me see if they actually have some of these that have been listed here. This is like a newer one. This is like a newer. Oh, maybe it's not. I've never seen the 40. I thought the 45 was different. Oh yeah, because this is what the old 45 one looked like. That's why it looks. They must have changed it. Well, look how much the 45-year-old one goes for. 400, 500 bucks. Now, I know I've seen 50-year-old ones. What was the highest one I've seen? I've seen some of these go for thousands of dollars, and I could have swear there was ones that were like in the 50 years, and that's actually pretty rare because even though the Walt Disney Company has been around for since the 20s or the 30s, there's very few people that actually make it past 50 years working for the company. So that's why usually the higher the number, the more money these pins are. And I could have swore there's a 50-year and a 60-year I've seen that go for just an absurd amount of money. Disney also does awards too for God, let's go down another rabbit hole. Jeez, I know so much about this weird stuff. What would I say? What would it be? I guess employee. Not the service pin, though. I had my little run with those. And Disney employee statue. Yeah. Check these out. There's only one. Maybe I'm just saying it wrong. Anyways, Disney sometimes will get these statues also in kind of conjunction with those pins. And so just look out for these. They don't. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather deal with the pins because they're so much easier to ship and deal with than these actual crazy like service awards. Because some of these things are really kind of big and bulky and just nutty, as you can see here. But anyways, it's another kind of like a side niche to those service pins or the employee kind of stuff. But anyways, like I said, Disney's the stuff you can go down a rabbit hole. So, hey, actually, if you did enjoy this, click the like button if you've never heard of the Disney service pins or the Disney statues, and leave a comment below for sure. And we got an offer. We're going to check that out later. Next up, we have this 2015 Boston Red Sox Fantasy Camp autographs. 21 autographs in this thing. There wasn't any like insane like I thought there was a Roger Clemens in here, but there wasn't. That would actually make this probably worth twice as much. But I think Frank Viola might have been like the most known name in this whole lot. They were all hand signed, and you can just take it under your jeweler loop, and you can see like the Sharpie has this like rainbowy effect. Usually, if it's printed, it'll have like some kind of art, like some kind of pixelating artifacts when you look up the Sharpie stuff. And also Sharpie, it's kind of hard to tell. It's kind of hard to explain without looking under a jeweler's loop. So Sharpie, when you actually end the signature or like you begin something, it usually will make a dot. So any kind of stop or start in the signature will produce these like little dots, and sometimes they're minus dots and sometimes they're plus dots. And what I mean by that is sometimes it's like missing more ink, or it's got more. Like I said, the signature stuff I can go like literally knee deep into the signature stuff. But anyways, these are legit signatures. What was really nice about this, and I didn't find out until I started taking pictures of these, was when you flip these up around, they're like just normal kind of photos that you would get at like Costco or whatever. But they actually had the file names of these pictures in them with that had the actual name. So I was able to come down here and put a whole list of the different names, except for someone that I couldn't figure out. But anyways, I mean, some of these people you've probably heard of. Louis Tiante or Tiant is someone that I heard of. Oil Can Boyd is another person I heard of. Trot Nixon is someone I actually heard of. Pokey Reese. And but pretty much this is basically all like coaches and former players. And where did I back up? Why did I do that? Anyways, whoever got this actually got a good deal. 21 signatures for like $25 plus shipping. If you're a Red Sox fan, this is a really, really good deal. And we have all kinds of great deals like this in the American Cancer Society shop. Definitely go down there and click the link and see what we got. Send us an offer, a reasonable offer, and we'll definitely consider it. Next up, we have this Kung Fu Complete Series DVD. This is series 1 through 3. This sold for $19.99. Right now is probably one of the best times ever to be listing sealed DVDs and sealed Blu-rays. Though some of these box sets actually go for a pretty good amount of money loose. I don't recommend selling loose used DVDs unless they are like out of production. Usually you can search it by OOP in the title, and out of print, out of production, however you want to say it. There's some DVDs that go for a pretty good amount of money, but I would stay away from anything you've probably heard of. So like if you see like Pulp Fiction or something like a major movie in a DVD is usually not going to go for that much. Even Blu-rays now, you can sometimes find them at Target for like $5 brand new on sale. So if you come across any DVDs or Blu-rays that are just odd, like you've never heard of the movie seems weird, or just like the genre is kind of like wacky or whatever, definitely look that kind of stuff up. I should probably do a DVD Blu-ray video at some point. God, I always say that in these videos. Oh, I'm gonna do this video, and I just never come across. I just never have the time. So much knowledge, too little time. Whatever. We'll move on. Just start listing your DVDs and stuff. Next up, we have this Diane Von Furstenberg. I'm probably saying that wrong, and it's probably not even German. It says made in China, but I think Diane Von Furstenberg, size 12. This sold for $65. And once again, a nice background from Eureka. I'm not sure if this was Deb or Haley, but still, I love their background. It looks amazing, and it separates their pictures from the rest of the stuff that we list. Anyways, that's a Bolo brand. It's a higher end brand. So if you see that Diane Von Furstenberg, definitely take another look, and just you want to do your normal things. Look for stains, rips, tears, etc., etc., etc. Once again, I'm Chris. Hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely go down there, click the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we'll see you next time. Take care.